Round 12 of Super Rugby for footytips.com.au. Sam Bruce alongside Greg Growden. Greg, this week we kick it off with the Highlanders and Sharks in Dunedin.
Good to be with you, big man. And this big round, particularly with the Highlanders playing so well, and the Sharks, at last, are playing out of South Africa. They've had, 15 rounds at home? And I think, and they've wasted that opportunity. They had such a great draw. The Sharks have blown it, and I think the Highlanders will continue that pain with a good win. I like the Highlanders. Good team to watch.
I do too, and I heard the Sharks actually had to order new passports for that one. Waratahs and Brumbies following that match down in Canberra. Geez, it looks a spiteful contest.
I know there's been all this PR poop during the week that everyone's friends and everyone's forgotten what's happened in Sydney, but forget it. It's going to be on, and it's going to be an absolutely great game. And I'm going to go the Waratahs. I just got the feeling their momentum is now starting to snowball. They're looking good. The big players are starting to fire up. And Sharks Potgieter, the man who caused a bit of drama last game, is starting. He had his best game last week for a long while, and he's starting to pick up his momentum. Skelton's playing well. And the Brumbies haven't yet overcome those major injuries, particularly Tamua. Even though Lee Lafana did play well last week.
And the man who called Jacques Potgieter out on that slur back in Sydney a few weeks ago, David Pocock, he had a pretty handy game himself last week.
It was right up there, probably the game of the year. He had a magnificent performance. Three tries as a chariot rider. It was very good. But I've just got a feeling that the referee this week could be a little bit more tough on those rolling balls. They were a bit iffy, if you know what I mean. If you just read the law book.
Saturday, we're off to Eden Park for the Blues and Force there in Auckland. Heaven forbid, I think the sky may actually fall in this week because you've tipped the Force.
I have. I know it's going to shock Perth. They'll probably have a half holiday over this. But, yeah, I really enjoyed... This might shock you. I actually enjoyed watching the Force play last week. Their effort against the Chiefs. I was dreading this game, thinking it was going to be a walkover, particularly if the Force were going to play their one-out pod footy where throw the ball out, one pass, batch it in, batch it out. But they did have a go. And Hodgson made a big difference there. So I've got a feeling that at last they may achieve something. And against the Blues, a little bit shaky. I just hope the Force stick with the game plan they did last week. I know it didn't work against the Chiefs, but they keep at it. I think it will provide dividends at last.
Yeah, they've hung across in New Zealand there after that tight loss to the Chiefs last week. Hurricanes and Crusaders following that match at Westpac Stadium in Wellington. Hurricanes were pretty impressive against the Reds on Sunday afternoon.
They were, and this is the big game. This is really will define whether the Hurricanes are a myth or are going to go somewhere. No one would have picked them to be at top at this time of the season, but they've done it with aplomb, great footy, and, everyone's playing well. They are a team. Barrett's doing it well, great backline. Nonu and Smith are really firing. And I know if they beat the Crusaders, that will really give them a big boost. This will be tight. I am going to go for the Hurricanes.
Richie McCaw out for the Crusaders in that one. Rebels and Chiefs at Amy Park on Saturday night. The Chiefs, well, they'd be a little bit concerned about how they finished that game against the Force, while the Rebels, they might just fancy their chances here.
I am going to go for the Chiefs, but a shock win to the Rebels wouldn't surprise me. The Rebels are the great improvers of the Australian Conference teams. I really admire how they've really picked up their act, playing good footy, good pack, and there's a lot of no-names really firing. But I just got a feeling we're getting closer and closer to the finals. Chiefs would be worried about what the Hurricanes are doing, so I think the Chiefs will pick up their act and will win. But it'll be tight.
Marty McKenzie stepping in for Aaron Cruden last week. What did you make of him for the Chiefs?
He's not bad. He did what he had to do. He's not Aaron Cruden, but first up, good potential. And that's a good thing about the Chiefs. If they have problems, they got good backup.
Later Saturday nights, the Cheetahs and Stormers over there in Bloemfontein. The Cheetahs had a good crack at the Lions last week, but came up short, while the Stormers, they survived a bash fest against the Bulls.
Yeah, and I think they'll continue on. Bloemfontein, what a top spot. Love it. Missed that artificial lake so much with all the car wrecks. But Stormers, they actually handle the trips to the Veldt pretty well. So I've got a feeling they'll continue on. And I think they look the best of the South African teams. And even though the Cheetahs do play a good brand of footy and have got the home ground advantage, I think the Stormers, even though they're lacking a few players, will just do it.
Wrapping up around 12, it's the Bulls and Lions in Pretoria. Big game for the Bulls before they come across to Australasian for their tour. While the Lions, another win here, this will put them in a really good position in that South African conference.
Yeah, I'm going for the Bulls, not with much confidence with this one. They will get by, I think, it's on home ground advantage. But the Lions, who usually have been average, have really done some good stuff here. This could be, mate, I might even go say, maybe a draw. Bulls, put the money on the Bulls, but back yourself with a draw.
Big call there from the big man. Okay, recapping Greg's tips for round 12. It's the Highlanders, the Waratahs, the Force, the Hurricanes, the Chiefs, the Stormers and the Bulls. Now, Greg, I'm going to give you one last chance here. You sticking with the Force?
I'm sticking with the Force. I think they might win by 10 points. Bring in the White Coats.
There could be a basket of muffins on your way from Perth before we speak. Looking at the overall ladder on footytips.com.au, and it's Ryan Eddington, Kieran Dawkins, Bulls Boss and Rocky Tupahi. That's a four-way tie on top, while Francis Fajita, he's dropped back.
He's hung in though, Francis. I haven't given up on him. But it's tough. It's really tough, as I've discovered when I again forgot to put my tips in.
Yeah, not your best work this week.
No.
Looking at the ESPN Scrum Superstars ladder, it's still Paul Marklew out on top from Nick Webber, but there was a big move from yours truly this week who played his joker with aplomb.
Well done. Good time to do it, particularly when I got naught.
Round 12 Super Rugby, bring it on.